Yeah, and then your pricing, and then an easy add to cart, and we were just discussing the result refinement.
Great. I wonder that's nice. Okay, I'm going to leave you alone.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Let me know when you're ready.
Ready.
Okay, I'll try to keep my head out of the way.
No. Just be as natural as you can.
Now, it looks like this also gives you the option of opening or expanding or contracting.
Yeah, try it.
Okay, excellent. I was just thinking here for your audience, if you haven't already done it, an age might be useful.
How would that
Well,
work?
again, not necessarily for our library, but say, I don't know if you have clients who have particularly kindergarten through high school. You know, sometimes they're interested in a particular age level. If a book or a journal is focused at a particular age group.
Okay, but that would be the younger age group?
Generally speaking, yes. There's categories. I don't know exactly what the breakouts are, but say it's the target audience for this particular product might be for 3 to 8-year-olds, or it might be for what they call young adults, teenagers.
Exactly.
Particularly in the eBooks, if you're marketing to schools below collegiate level,
Exactly.
that would be something of value for them as a category.
How about up seniors?
Um,
Or is it just adults?
I'm thinking, adults kind of falls into a
Okay, big category.
big category. And I think particularly when it's an educational book that is curriculum, like they can relate it to the curriculum, and or it's at a reading level. It's more related to reading level, I think, than anything else. So kind of once you're beyond high school, it's assumed you have a certain level of competency in reading, whereas you might not expect the same thing of a 6-year-old.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I understand. And
So-
yeah, it goes black because of the battery. So, okay.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
And then individual titles and packages, I like this. And I'm trying to think if there's any other categories. The subject, very nice. Let me go ahead and, is it okay if I scroll down?
Yes.
Okay. Like this, I love this, but I don't know how you keep track because they're moving targets these days. Every time you think you figured it out,
Yeah. Only,
somebody else buys them, or
Yeah, already move out.
language I think is exceedingly helpful. And I'm not quite sure perpetual. Does this mean in these cases, once you purchase it, you have it forever?
Before, yeah. We're
Okay. Then again, this would be particularly exciting for journal packages, because generally we're paying for a subscription.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we're paying for a subscription with back issues.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes we get perpetual access to the things that we subscribed to if we stop subscribing. Sometimes when we stop subscribing, we lose everything.
Yes. Also the back, yeah.
Including the back issues.
Yeah.
So again, I don't know how you're going to keep track of this in a journal environment, but I think it's a lovely idea. And it would be really, really useful, because we actually use another piece of software to try to manage all that stuff and keep track of it.
Oh, really? Okay.
And Julie knows more about it than I do, but we have a product called Serial Solutions that, okay, so you're familiar with
Yes.
ERMs, and okay, so that's kind of where we're managing all of that. But if we could track all that using SweatsWise, that could be a really useful thing.
Easier.
Let's see, price range, again, can be helpful. Special offers. Is this if something goes on sale, or?
If some of the publishers have some sort of special offer, we'll show it here.
Okay, cool.
within the results.
Okay. And I'm thinking that some of them may have expiration dates on their special offers.
That will show up in the results.
Okay, excellent. And platform fees. I'm trying to figure out when. So is it, if you purchase something, there's a fee in addition
Oh,
to the content in order to host it or
Yeah.
something along those lines? Okay. Okay. And I'm also not familiar with what the DRM restrictions might be.
It's more for ebooks.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the,
Okay. So again, I'm just not quite as facile with the environment for the ebooks. And then, should we go look at these things here
well,
also?
first of all,
Or
I would
do
like
you have
to.
more questions?
Yes. 'Cause
Okay,
this
ask
is-
away.
This is semi-psychological.
Okay.
So I'm gonna ask you a lot of times, what do you think that means? So
Okay.
to get an idea if we have the labeling right.
Okay.
Maybe that's why.
Because sometimes, I must admit, a lot of working with the different vendors is figuring out what they mean by their term
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
and making sure that we're on the same page.
Yes.
Okay. Very
so,
good.
So that's the reason why I'll ask, what do you think
Okay.
that'll mean? What would you expect to see there?
In the result refinement or?
No, for example, suppliers, orders, or.
Oh, so if I go to suppliers, I think what I'm going to see is something along the lines of the publishers or whoever actually produces the thing. But you have publishers here. So I'm like, okay. I know sometimes there's a tertiary party.
Yes.
Is that what your suppliers is going to be?
I'm gonna tease you. I'm
No,
gonna say,
go ahead.
Is that what you think?
That's, I mean, given publishers are here, it could be another iteration, and it could actually cross over.
Exactly.
It could cross over. A
But it-
supplier could be a publisher, but not necessarily.
So is it biting each other? Suppliers and publishers here and there?
Well, okay, when I think of a publisher, I think of who's actually producing the content.
Hmm.
Who's actually making the thing available. In terms of a supplier, you know, for example, we buy things through, what's it good? JSTOR.
Yeah.
JSTOR doesn't produce the content. JSTOR is the tertiary party that makes it available on their platform, and we interact with them.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than directly with the publisher,
Yes.
which can cause confusion there. But yeah, so I'm thinking that at the supplier level, you're going to see the publisher if the publisher is the supplier. But if someone other than the publisher supplies, that's what I'll see on that tab, is my guess.
That is the.
That's the intention?
Yes.
Okay, good.
So that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Some people are confused by that if they haven't worked in this field for a while.
Oh yeah.
You know, there's some people who don't, you know, it takes them a little while to kind of get that.
Hmm.
But, so I think some people might be confused by it, but not for long.
And would it be useful to see suppliers there?
I think so. I mean, well, you've got your supplier here too.
Yes, but that's within your results.
Right. Right. Now, what you're saying is this tab, is this my search results, the suppliers for my search results, or it's organized by supplier? Or is this a list of all the potential suppliers and I can go from supplier, drill down to what they offer?
What if I'd say it's the latter?
That would be helpful, I think.
Okay. Okay.
I think that could be really helpful. Because again, once you have a relationship set up with a supplier, it's kind of easier to add things to that.
Uh-huh.
So it could be useful to go to the supplier and say, oh, these are the other things they offer, are we interested in going there? Because it could be easier potentially than going other directions
Okay.
to get at stuff. So I think it could be.
Well, that's what we have in
Okay.
mind.
Okay.
Yeah, just to show the list of all the suppliers.
Okay. Again, that'll be really fun to. one of the things that I love that you and EBSCO and the other, service providers do is manage all of that. And I know you can't keep up.
No.
But in essence, we've over the years outsourced all of that to you guys. Because we just don't have the people to deal with it anymore. We used to try to do all of that ourselves.
Yeah, you can see the people at work at our office.
It's crazy.
Yes.
So, okay, what next?
Well, let's click on.
Click on
result.
suppliers?
Or no,
Or-
they're empty right now.
Oh, okay.
We're focusing on all the publications.
Okay, so you want me to just click on,
Now let's say you're interested in Off the Books. That's the title. It's called Off the Books.
okay,
It shows up in your results.
And here it is.
Yes, and you want to know
Okay.
more about it.
so,
But maybe you don't want to know right now, but you want to know later. And you're
Oh.
actually going through a whole list and making,
and just kind of collecting them together.
and then at one point,
That would be nice. So is that the add to the wish list purpose?
does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Well, because we're so used to Amazon.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that's
so
what
I'm an avid Amazon shopper.
Oh, okay.
Avid eBay, avid Amazon, avid Etsy shopper.
Okay.
So yes, adding to the wish list is a lovely idea because then you could collect them together. And in fact, can I click here?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Nice. Here's another thought. And again, this is sort of based off of eBay. I have multiple lists in eBay based on, like, okay, so maybe, today I'm shopping for, bat stuff.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow I'm shopping for, I need a new cell phone.
Yes.
So I may have a list for my cell phone wish stuff and my bat stuff. And so it's helpful to be able to do multiple lists, particularly in a large environment where I may be doing research for a department. I may be doing research for a particular librarian, and I would want to keep those separate if I can. So is it possible to have multiple lists, or is that possible enhancement at a later
Well,
time?
let's go through the wish list and see.
Okay. Okay, so I've closed this, and to get to my wish list,
I'm going to see if you can find it.
I'm looking.
If we put it in a location where somebody
I'm
can
looking.
find it.
Okay, so I'm not seeing it there. So on the side. Oh, there's my session history. Oh, here it is. There we go. Sorry, it's teeny tiny little font.
Yeah, no.
So
it's-
here's my wish list.
Yes.
And so there's all wish lists. So it looks like I can have multiple ones, is my guess. But then, so I can create a list. Is that what I just did by
Yeah, but it
clicking
doesn't
on
work
that?
right now.
Okay, so I can create a list, and can I just throw things in a bunch and then sort them later?
Yes.
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 This is
You
good.
can
This
delete
is
them,
exciting.
add them, and
Yep. Yep. So I could
email
go
them.
through and mark them, and so I can print, I can share, I can delete, I can email, and I can export.
And you can add notes, you can do everything.
Ooh. Notes are very exciting. Can I add notes that, so the notes that I add, would those be included in an email, or would those be included if I decide to order it? You need to make it really easy to order it here too. Just, so if I've got things in here that I wanted to order, how would I mark them?
Would you like to order the complete list or just items from the list?
I think items from the list. I mean, I would want to be able to do either.
Yes.
If I have them organized into a list that I want to shoot the whole list, I'd want, if it's ready to go, I'd rather shoot the whole list than necessarily pick. But there may be occasions where, for whatever reason, they're being authorized on an individual basis, or, but to have that control.
Okay.
to do it either way would be nice.
So selection buttons in front.
Yeah, I'm thinking selection buttons and then say, go ahead and order. Or, shoot it over to my cart, my shopping cart. Okay, cool. Cool. Let's see, what else about this? So you have, okay, so these are your notes. And this is how they're gonna are my notes.
These are your
my
yeah.
notes.
Or you're sharing this with somebody.
Okay.
And it's somebody else's notes
Okay.
whom you're sharing the list with.
So, and will it identify who the creator of the notes are?
Yes.
Okay, good, because that'll help contextually. Where are we from the wish list? Add to the cart. Oh, here you go. So here you can pop it into your cart
Yes.
by just clicking that. And will the note stay with it when it goes to the cart?
Once you click on that item from the
Mhm.
cart, you'll go to a page where you see the notes, but not in
Okay.
the cart itself.
Okay. Okay.
So would you like that?
I'm kind of thinking, in the cart, it's still not ordered yet. I mean, it's kind of like that last little stage of review. So I'm thinking it could be useful to see the notes in the cart or have maybe an expansion contraction thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that, you can easily get at the notes
Okay.
without it necessarily taking up the whole screen or the whole
Yeah.
page. We've done some really nice stuff here. So this is the list that this particular title's on, is the particular wish list, correct?
Yes, what you
Okay.
see really badly on this is there's bars here. And this is your general wish list, but that will be your wish list called Department of Justice. And if you
Mhm.
click on that, you go to your other wish list.
If I click on general, I'll go to my other wish list?
This one. Now,
Okay.
this lacks the covers for
Okay.
in the demo, but this would be your other wish list.
Okay. And you can create as many as you need and or have one big one.
Yeah, order them, share them. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm thinking you probably want a default one that you could set.
Yeah, that would be the general.
Okay. And then, so if I'm on the general and I'm looking at these more closely, like maybe I'm just, I'm doing my research, I'm finding these titles, I'm gathering them, I should just throw them over to the wish list. And from general, I would want to have the capability to move these to another wish list potentially.
Okay, from one wish list to the other.
Exactly.
And or from, and then it goes away from the general, or does it stay on both?
Ooh. I like options, but I'm thinking for the most part it would probably remove from one and
Okay,
go
cut and paste.
be directed, more like a cut and paste.
Okay.
At least for my foreseeable
Mhm.
thought. That I have sort of a generic one where I can just throw things and then once I've had a chance to review them more precisely, then send them off to, physics or justice or
Yeah.
wherever they're more appropriately placed. So that would be something that you probably want, something you could click on and say, send this here to another list. Or create a new list
Yeah.
as a possibility. And I'm assuming if I click on these, then I'll see more information about what these mean.
Well, you can click on them.
Oh, they're live now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, too bad.
Just back up?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's coincidence.
Okay.
Yeah, it should
Let
be,
me try. Let's see. Let me try this one
Oh, bugger. What's going on?
It happens. I mean,
This shouldn't happen.
Well, you should.
Are they all empty? Oh, then the database is empty on this.
Okay.
Well, say from the search results,
Mm-hmm.
this will, hopefully, I haven't
Mhm.
tried that this morning, hopefully work. Well, this is a good one. I can tell the developer to fill these
To
up.
populate these.
Yeah.
So, yes, because again, we're going to want to look at these options to see which one's most suitable for us,
Of course.
if we
Yeah.
have choices.
Yes.
And even if we don't have choices, we need to make sure that it's one that will work for us. Each library is going to have different conditions or sort of practices about, with an online thing, what's acceptable. For example, for us, we need IP access. We can't, a password, we cannot use it in our environment. So, when I'm shopping, that's one of the things that we'll look for. We prefer perpetual access, not that we can always get it, but
No, yeah.
we prefer it. So we'll go in there looking for that sort of information. Let's see, what else about the wish list? So yeah, you just want to be able to very quickly and easily send it out to people. I love the idea of the sharing. So if I share it with someone and they have a response to it, does it come back here?
In an email or so, or
Mhm.
on the platform?
Well, if I email this to them
Mm-hmm.
and they respond, is the email basically coming back to my email system, or is it coming back will it come back here?
I think, because how would that go into play? How would that come back in here?
Well, I'm just trying to, I'm not sure it would, and I'm not sure exactly how it would, but I'm thinking, in many cases, I'm starting a dialogue,
Yes.
and it might be nice to have that dialogue monitored here.
I'm thinking, because we don't have that right now, so.
And
Now would
and
but it would be nice.
I wouldn't mind innovating ideas. I can come up with ideas, you get to come up with solutions.
Oh, good, yeah, that's exactly the idea. So, how would that go?
But I'm thinking when I email this to somebody, generally speaking, I'm emailing it to them saying, here's some information about this thing, or hey, do you want to pull the trigger and actually order it, and they're going to respond to me, which is often going to determine my next action.
Exactly, so that would be useful if you get like some attention marker there saying you got an email or you got a reply back within the system.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's maybe some.
Just a thought. If that would be a complicated thing to make work.
Yeah, well,
But-
LinkedIn does it. Okay, so.
But I think it could happen. Now, sharing. What does sharing mean here on the tools?
If I'm going to ask
It
you what
sounds
you think,
lovely.
but you probably,
Well,
what would you?
what would I think sharing means? Well, I'm trying to distinguish it from emailing somebody something. But okay, let me take it back a step. So I'm in my account
Yes.
in SweatsWise while I'm doing this. So would sharing possibly send it to another SweatsWise user?
In another library, maybe?
I'm thinking more in our library, but we have other users besides myself in SweatsWise. Would sharing be kind of like emailing it internally within SweatsWise to another user in the in my library?
And then
Maybe?
avoiding emailing, but just.
Yeah, just keeping it straight within the system as opposed to an email, because I think of an email actually going outside the system
Yes.
to anybody. But I don't know. What's your intention with share? I'm guessing, I'm
Facebook.
stabbing. Oh, okay, I am not an avid Facebook person.
No, but this
But
idea
that's-
actually,
But I
that's
see
what
what
this
you're
is.
doing. So,
we don't know, right? Really, we don't get a lot of positive responses on this right now.
Uh-huh.
There's people going like, why would I want to share it? We have one who said, oh, that would be nice if I have something new, I could share it on my Facebook. And
yeah,
But-
I'm not a Twitter or Facebook fan.
no, a lot of people are.
And so there may be some very exciting things to do in that direction, and I'm just too old and,
No, well,
Do you know what I mean? I'm just like, I'm not oriented that way, I guess.
but I'm going to write down the other idea, because like what you say, just share with a colleague, basically, also using SweatsWise. And
Potentially.
Potentially, avoiding the whole email thing.
Right. For example, our head of collection development has a SweatsWise account. So, he's a SweatsWise user. So I could share with him potentially. So I think of sharing as more internal. But if you're going Facebook and going out, I mean, I just can't see myself posting to Facebook saying, you know, hey, we ordered archives of think you should buy it too. Pat gives it 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, well, actually, I got exactly the same thing back from MIT, where I was. They said the same thing. So Kim says 2 thumbs, and then somebody would say, "Oh, well, I trust Kim. So if Kim says this is good, then let me have a look." Along those
It's
lines.
interesting. I can kind of maybe. I just don't see. Here's the piece that I'm missing. I just don't see myself as the person who's ordering and receiving things. I'm not the one making the decisions for the content.
No.
And the faculty is. Now, potentially the faculty might say, you know, hey, I recommend this thing, or but they're not in SweatsWise.
Okay. Okay.
That's, you know,
Yes.
they're not in SweatsWise. So, I mean, I think there is potential for the concept, but as a part of SweatsWise, not necessarily.
Okay.
But maybe you guys have a big plan to reach out to all the faculty and have everybody be part of the big SweatsWise happy family.
No, it wouldn't be like that. No, I don't think so. No, it's they'll you know, most likely this would just be taken off because it's not really something that's very popular.
I think I mean, it's an interesting concept, and I think, you know, somebody may come up with a really great idea. You know, it is kind of a seminal concept, but I don't see a practical application at this point.
At this point, no. How about mobile? Share to
My phone is smarter than I am
oh,
already.
Mine is also.
I think my phone's too small to do this. I mean, but then again, you know, people are doing, you know, tablets and, you know, formats that you actually could read this. Yeah, exactly. I think there's promise. I personally don't want to do it while I'm on the bus or while
No.
I'm at home. No. But, you know, I could see a potential audience for that. You know, many of our librarians are way more tech savvy than I am, and are on the road a lot. So this would give them access to this
But you
that
wouldn't
they
see
might not otherwise have.
Yes, would you see a scenario where you or somebody in your position in any library, basically, let's say, holistically?
Sure. I
Would-
mean, you could. Yeah, I could see if I was, you know, during renewals, you know, potentially I could work from home. Or, I mean, you know, there's things that yeah, I think there's ways to do it.
Okay, so that's maybe not for
but-
now, but 5, 10 years from here?
Well, you know, with everything being on the net, everything's mobile anyway. So, are you talking about like a kind of condensed app
Yes.
scenario?
You would only, let's say, get the title list.
Right. Not for me. I mean, I'm thinking of, you know, the apps that I have used mobile, Amazon and eBay I've used on my phone. And honestly, I usually find them annoying because I can't get to some of the things I want to get at.
That's the same thing. Yes.
So I don't know if there'd be, I don't know if the audience would be happy with the scaled down
Exactly. Yes, I see what you
version.
mean. I have to say same thing.
I think it's an interesting idea. I think you have to talk to some people who are kind of more comfortable with the
Mhm.
mobile stuff. I've not had, I can't say it's particularly negative, but it's not like I'm excited about the
You're not
idea of
embracing
it.
it, no.
No, I'm not like, oh, yes!
Hell for the moon.
No. No, I'm like, interesting.
For somebody else.
And, you know, I mean, I'm not closing the door on the idea, but it's not terribly appealing to
No,
me.
okay, well,
Yeah.
okay, but the other elements there,
Let's see. Create, upload. Oh, I like the idea of being able to upload things too. Nice.
do you know
Nice.
what we mean by upload?
Well, I'm thinking that I have sent a list to someone, probably via email, saying, you know, here's a spreadsheet of the things that we're considering.
Mhm.
They've made modifications to it, and I'm now bringing it back in with their modifications, hopefully.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay. And my only caution for that is we would want some fields that we could, you know, like we may want to add fields onto the spreadsheet. How are they going to upload the extra information? Where is that going to go?
Because
Into
that would
the
show up
notes.
here,
Right. Well,
Right.
yeah. You would want it to show up here when you upload.
and these are fields you think up yourself.
Well, potentially, for example, you know, I may shoot off a list with the data from here to someone and say, okay, you know, give me a yes or no, should I order these things? And then it would be nice to be able to upload it back into the system with whatever their response is.
There is, for example,
Yeah, as an example. Another thing might be, I might take a list and run it against, you know, using Excel, run it against a list to say, pull my order numbers, and be able to upload my order numbers so that when for our ILS system, so that when I place the order with you, I'm giving you, that's one of the things that we do with our orders, is we give you our local order number. And so to be able to upload that would be nice, as an example.
okay, so.
Does that
well,
make
I'm gonna-
sense?
Yes, a lot, but we
Okay.
have to.
Again, it's a
for that.
complicated, so I'm just, what does upload entail? Is it just giving, what am I getting by uploading?
Yeah, basically what's in the list, right? Because
Yeah.
you wouldn't want just half of it to
Right,
upload. Yeah.
right. And, you know, what am I uploading, and where is that data gonna go? How is that data gonna parse out what's gonna look like on the screen?
That's
So
going to
we
be
need
our
to
job.
play around.
Yeah, but we don't know up front, and you couldn't possibly tell us up front.
Exactly. So I'm trying to figure out, you know, you could have just, you know, kind of like you have those comment field number 1, comment field number 2, comment field, you could have generic,
Yes.
potential generic fields
Yeah.
that could be renamed for whatever the use is potentially. But then again, I don't know, it might just be mischief, because say I'm doing one thing with one list, but I'm doing another thing with another list, and so I'm updating completely different.
That would mean that if you upload your list and then Sam uploads his different list, he might overwrite something, or
Well, potentially either overwrite and or in order to accommodate new data that's been added or isn't, like what I put in, we're not necessarily doing the same thing with the two lists.
no, exactly.
So what he puts in an extra field number 1, field number 2, and field number 3 might be different than what I would put in field number 1, field number 2, field number 3, and then it gets very confusing.
It gets messy.
Yeah, it can get messy really, really fast. What did you envision for uploading?
Basically,
I'm kind of making this up as I go along, but
there is an upload feature right now, basically.
Mhm.
Right? It's basically the same thing.
I've just not used it.
Oh, okay.
So, do people use it?
Yes.
And what did they do with it?
Oh, basically, you know what actually happens is people get a list and they send it to Sweats and say, could you upload this one?
Okay.
So our Sweats staff
Uploads it.
uploads it, and they know
Okay.
exactly how that works, of course.
Okay.
So that's what's actually 99% of the time is happening.
So it's not a self-serve.
It is, but people aren't using it. So we're trying to
Okay.
facilitate, people, because
See, I'm just thinking if I'm gonna upload anything, the whole point of uploading it would be adding something of value to me too.
it would be a new list. So you don't have it yet here. So instead of typing everything in,
Uh-huh,
you already have it typed, and then you could just be fed into the system.
okay.
That was our thought.
I think I just need to kind of find out more about it before I have an opinion.
Okay. Well, next time we'll have it running.
Okay. Okay. What else do you want to look at while we're here?
Well, we have quotations.
Quotations. Oh, as in pricing?
Yes.
Okay. And
You
is it
have
here
requested
or
a quote.
Oh, I see here. Quotations available for the switch. Oh, so this is like just a total number, or is this a discounted number if I order this batch? Or what does the quotation mean?
Well, it is on this page. It does show up on this page.
Okay. So, I see. Okay, so what it's done is it's basically run a subtotal. And this is one of the things I do love about SWATSWise, is you guys tell us exactly how much something's going to cost.
That's not ordinary? That's not normal?
Well, our other major vendor gives us a list price, but they do not give us the calculation of, the calculated number until we get an invoice for the service charge and tax. So when we're looking at pricing on their catalog, we're looking at list pricing. We're not looking at this calculated with the estimated tax, and it's not clear whether this number includes the service charge or not, but I believe it does.
It does.
So they don't show us the breakout of the cost of the item, the sales tax if it's applicable, and or the service charge. So we just got to mentally calculate it. But that is one of the things we do like about Sweats, is when we're looking at it, we do get the actual numbers,
Yes.
or very, very close.
As
With-
close as we can get, probably.
Right,
Yeah.
right. The problem that we have run into with SweatSwise, this was a couple years ago, sales tax in California changes, because it's something that it depends on what the voters do, and it depends on where you are when you're buying it.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Like it changes all the time?
You can, well, not incredibly often. It's generally related to some sort of a ballot initiative. So we have elections a couple times a year,
My lord.
and it depends on the jurisdiction. So in some cases it's a state thing, in some cases it's a city thing. So, for example, the tax that you pay in this neighborhood is different than what you would pay 10 miles away in El Cajon.
Okay, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that is so odd.
Yeah.
And difficult to monitor.
And that's something I depend on you guys to do.
Yes, we should do that.
And again, it's a moving target.
Yes.
And you will have that happen for all of your customers. Particularly in California, it changes.
Is it more in California than in other states?
I can't say for sure because I've not lived in other states, but it seems that way.
Okay.
It seems that way. Because there are municipal taxes in California, and I don't know if that's true of, particularly smaller states. They might not bother with that.
But someone like Jason should know this.
Or some places, are different, like Nevada doesn't have sales tax at all, because it's all the gambling industry kind of underwrites all that stuff, so there's no sales tax in Nevada. There was a time when you guys missed a change, and it was a big change, so you were charging us the wrong sales tax. That was awkward.
America is a miraculous place.
It's got its pros and
Wonderland.
cons. Hi, you got
Six.
something exciting for me?
No, that's
Should I just sign and trust you?
Sure.
Okay,
It's in
you
a
know I'm
bucket.
coming
5 of them
after
are in a
you.
bucket, and well, you know where I live.
And that's true.
I'm in the pits.
And I wanted to thank you for telling us about that first class thing, because I went and talked to him. It was a complete misunderstanding,
Yeah, 'cause I
and
was,
they will not do that again.
'cause, like I did a couple samples, and I'm like, if it was.
No,
if it was California, it was okay, but when it was going to, it went from $3 to $11.93, and I'm like,
Yeah. No, thank you for saying something. I think we've got it fixed.
Okay.
But bring it to my attention if you see it again.
It just stuff that you just don't touch. Somebody must be out.
Yeah.
I mean, they just went crazy on it.
It's a new staff person who misunderstood an instruction and then taught the students her misunderstanding. Yeah,
Like I said, it says it right on the bottom of the label
know,
how it's
I know.
supposed to go. So.
yeah.
I
Thank
usually go by what it says on it, but if it's stamped first class all over the place, and I send it out at library.
No, you
Post
probably
office
saved
will-
us thousands of
Post office
dollars.
will send it back.
You've saved us thousands of dollars.
I did my due diligence.
Thank you.
So that means I should get a raise, right?
Yeah, a percentage of what the savings or something.
I'll get my congratulations. You get your .000.
I think we may get a 1.5 or something this year.
Yeah.
It's the budget's been bad. Since I've been here, we had one raise 7 years ago, and it was 1.2%.
They said 2007 was our last.
2007.
2007 was our last cost
Increase.
of living increase.
Oh, is that what they called it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't a salary increase. It was a cost of living increase.
Oh,
Everything went up that much.
yeah.
I don't know if this is going to comfort you at all.
Yeah.
It's the same around the globe.
It is. It's crazy.
But see,
Wherever
right now
you are.
they're arguing because the DMV workers are getting like 5.7%.
I've heard there's some areas that are getting like nice raises, but
It's like our
anyway.
MPP got 17.
I know. The management doesn't. The management gets raises around
Always,
here.
always.
Anyway, so some things are universal.
Yeah, so duh.
Yes, those who
Like
do the work
people-
do the work, and those who can't get credit for it.
No matter where you go.
Yikes.
You guys have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Okay, we will. Thank you. Okay. So where were we? Oh, taxes. So and you know, but we do love this, but
Okay.
we do trust you to make sure that the
Yeah,
calculations
yeah.
are accurate. Okay. So ask quote. But this is
that
the
is
quote
completely
already.
out of my hands, of course.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
I
okay.
understand. I'm just commenting.
Yeah.
But as part of the design, it is nice that when I am looking at these things, actually, it's really nice when, in this case, you've got totals for the whole page. When we look up something now in the catalog in SweatsWise, it calculates the price for us for the individual items.
Okay, yeah.
And so I would also like to see this information broken out for each of the individual titles.
Okay, so not
So-
only one price, but also VAT or whatever.
Well, yeah, I'd like to see the whole, well, okay. So depending on, I know some of these titles, there may not be a tax, but there's always a service charge, you know, which varies.
Mhm.
But it would be nice to, at some point here, see, what we're looking at here is list prices.
Yes.
And then, but when I get down to the bottom, what I'm seeing is the total of the list prices along with the estimated tax, and I'm assuming that the service fees in here too. So I'm seeing the total number. It would be nice to have that for each
Yes.
list.
The
Okay.
breakdown for each separate.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. And I've asked your competitor to do this and they haven't done it yet, darn it. But anyway.
Well, you got a better chance here because we'll still be on this.
Now, what happens if I click here?
Well, I don't know.
We're gonna find out. So this is basically the paperwork that I,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
So what does it look like to you?
Well, I mean, it looks like, in our case, I'm not going to get a quote for things, but I can see how other places might, that might be really useful for them. When we're just not doing, well, maybe we would. Maybe we would. Maybe we would do quotes for certain groups of things. Because potentially there might be discounts if we, do a bulk order or
Yes.
something along those lines. So, I think I haven't invoked this, but particularly in the ebook environment, it might be really, really useful. In the journal environment, probably not so much, but, but it's kind of like, okay, we'll put together this little packagey thing, and will you give us a deal? So,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I can see the usefulness of this. I mean, I've gotten quotes for other things, just nothing from sweats. Well, like when I have to order supplies, I contact usually a couple of library vendors and say, hey, what's the best price you can give me on book trucks?
Yeah.
I need 12 book trucks. So I'll get quotes for those. So I mean, I can see the application here. But it just feels a little odd, that's all. So, now these, so this is, who the invoice is being generated for, access, I'm assuming, for that university. Suppliers, obviously, who's supplying it, but I'm not quite sure access for what that means in this particular display.
I cannot even help you with that. I have no idea why that
Okay.
is the same.
Well, I mean, it might make sense to have it the same, I just don't understand what it could be. I mean, the purpose of this, I could see, is if this is who's actually doing the payment and this is who's going to actually get the service, that potentially could be different, usually not. And then who's providing whatever the service is. But this part is a little perplexing to me. I'm not quite sure what that would be about.
Because it seems the same, right, with different, so it's both access for.
Right, right.
So could it be that there's two people?
Potentially,
Two different,
potentially, if, say you had multiple locations or something
like
along
in
those
this?
lines. Yeah. But what I would probably do is, instead of having a separate box here, I would put both of them in this box.
okay, because you have the sites, different
Right,
sites.
right,
So they would have different addresses.
right, I understand. And, and payments coming out of this one, I'm assuming, but, well, this being the same is kind of weird, because it sounds like you're providing access, right here, it looks like you're providing access to the
Exactly, so
supplier.
it would
But-
both show up in this
but-
list, let's say.
Right.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is, instead, maybe this is a list, but it would seem to make more sense to just have a space and then put this in the same
Yeah,
box,
yeah,
I guess.
definitely, because that's
Formatting.
confusing, huh?
Right,
Yes.
just formatting. It's just a formatting thing. Now, this is funny, because we're looking at the quotation, right? Down here it says order quotation. But shouldn't it just say order? I mean, it kind of sounds like I'm asking for another quote, and I have a quote right here. Is that,
Yeah, it just should say order,
okay,
yes.
okay.
I'm gonna write it down.
Because there's and,
It's more like order your quote list.
right, right, it sounds like I'm ordering the quote that I just got,
Yeah,
in terms of the terminology. Let's see. Where else would you like to go
Or
or
you can
ask
actually-
about?
play around.
Okay.
What I would be interested in, for my point of view, is if you have a look at purchase and package options, see if that's clear to you the way we display it.
Okay. So I'm at my wish list now, and, I would want to be able to purchase from my wish list.
Well, you actually,
Um,
you May I give you?
Sure, please.
You're in your wish list, but you want to add something to your wish list. You just thought of something. Oh, bugger, that's not on there. I gotta get it.
Okay.
So you're going back to the search.
So how would I do that? Or what
Yes,
would I,
yes.
what would I think I would do? Well, I can, there's a quick search up here, so I might just go up here and do my search from here, potentially. And then, or go to an advanced search. Now you've got this pull down list, my holding and titles on all content. What's titles? My holding makes sense to me in that it's probably the stuff I already have
Mm-hmm.
subscriptions to or that I own.
All content makes sense.
All contents make sense because that would be anything. What's titles?
I don't think that should be there.
Okay. Should I click on it and see what happens?
Yeah, sure. I don't think that much is going to happen. I'm going to have to.
It basically populated that little box. It just
Yeah, that's
did that. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's much.
So let's go back to all content, and should we make up a search?
Doesn't really do.
There's
we
no
only-
there's no
we-
database behind it to
Yeah,
search.
but only 20 titles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how would I easily get to the 20 titles?
Just click search in an empty
Just-
field.
Okay. And so it automatically does everything.
Oh, I hope it works from the wish list. Or they forgot to program that. Well, no, they forgot to program it. So it's just
Okay.
the logo or the house. Yeah.
Okay. And that's the home.
Yeah, but then now it does work if you click search.
All right, so here's our list. Okay. Were there other ways that I missed that I should be able to navigate back to add something to my wish list from?
No, I mean, your way is the way. So, you know.
Well, but my way isn't necessarily the only way.
No, but I'm very interested in your way, so I can see what your
Right.
workflow would be
Right.
here.
Well, this might be where I kind of, because I'm kind of muddling along,
Mm-hmm.
but if I had training on this and knew that there was an easier, better way to do it,
You might take that route.
I might take that route.
Of course.
So that's why I was asking.
No, but
So-
this is a fine way. But like what you
Right.
said, I would look it up in a quick search.
Mhm.
That's the most obvious thing
Yeah.
that we expect people to do.
Yeah, I mean, that just seems real obvious. Okay. What else?
Well, you were interested in the purchase option
Oh,
for,
yes,
let's
I'm
say,
sorry.
the Mango.
Okay.
You
And
wanted to have a
so,
look at
let's
the
say-
stuff like license details and other
right,
stuff.
so let's go look at the academic Mango results here. And
And I would like to have your thoughts on how we made the
I'm learning more about mangoes than I ever knew before. No. Actually, I like mangoes a lot. Let's see. So here you have purchase options and you have package options, which we had already discussed that whole, they're kind of the same thing. So let's see. I am looking at, what am I looking at? I'm looking at the academic package option, and it's Cabby Collections. I'm not sure what this 168 represents. Is that the number of titles in the collection?
Makes sense, right?
It makes sense, just because I seem to kind of remember it from the previous screen, but it would be nice to have labels here, so that, you know, that Cabby Collection, like supplier Cabby Collections, number of titles, and then, you know, price. I think this is a price.
Okay, so you're not even sure.
I'm not, I think
Okay.
it is, again, from, you know, remembering this from the previous screen.
Yeah, but that's, yeah.
But it would be nice to have, you know, have it
Okay.
reiterated here. Let's see, price, rate, price. Huh, what's the difference between a price rate and a price? We've got price rate here, and a price, and then sales tax kind of makes sense, and then a total price.
Maybe this is the ordinary price. We got a discount for you, so this is the discount price. So it should
okay.
say discount price.
So, yeah, discount or your
Yeah.
price, or
Or
something
you-
to, you know, something to make it sound special.
Yeah.
Cheaper. This is what you pay.
Because we like you.
Yeah. But yeah, or and instead of price rate, maybe like list price or something,
Yeah.
or standard price or something to kind of distinguish the two pricings. And then discounted price I think is good, or your special price, your.
Your Pat's.
Yeah, Pat's price. Because you're so charming.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so, all right, so here we go. Here's our 168 sort of reiterated, and it is the number of titles in the package, because you do see it down here. But up here, it's just kind of a random looking number.
Yes.
Okay. And
Do you like to see the titles in the package?
I do.
Oh, you do. So don't take that out.
I do. I am a more detail, anal,
Right. Right.
and
So every
most
point and
library
comma.
people are kind of that way.
Yeah, I noticed.
It,
Every little thing.
we're not like a just swing,
No.
freely. And I like that I can show different numbers. Can I click on this? Will it work? Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I'll see. We'll see what happens.
No.
No, but I like the idea.
Yeah, it would just.
I like the idea. Rather than having to go through 17 pages
Yes.
of this. And I
Would you like to see that immediately, the whole long list, or would starting with this list be fine?
Here's something that I would like to see in Sweatswise overall, is what I call sticky settings,
Oh yeah.
which is where I have some control about the display, and it stays that way until I change it again.
That's what this is going to do. So it'll be your personal thing, and the way you left it, that's how you enter again the next time. Also the page, eh?
Yeah.
So if you close on this page, next time you enter,
It
enter
takes
on
you
this
back to
page.
that page.
Yes.
That's great.
Okay.
That's very exciting, because it's been a niggly annoyance, because you just have all those extra clicks all the
Oh,
time
yeah.
just to get
No,
back to
definitely.
where you were, or to reset the thing, or to go to the type of search that you like, etc. So I love that. I love that. So I'm noticing we have hypertexts, which can I click and see where they go?
Let's see. Let's say it goes
Let's
to that
say
title.
it goes to that title.
Yeah.
That would be lovely.
Yeah, that's
That
what
would be more valuable than going back.
Yeah, no, that is what's going to happen.
Okay.
Won't you lose your way?
Well, I'm kind of a back person, although I am learning to follow. EBSCO is now doing this whole string thing.
Okay. Also the breadcrumb.
Yeah, the breadcrumbs here.
Yes.
And the thing about the breadcrumbs, so I'm learning the breadcrumbs, and it works for me too, and I think some people, maybe they're more used to that. Plus, it does allow me to skip steps, which is nice.
That is, and you see
Which
where
is-
you are.
You see where you are in relation to where you
Yeah.
started. So I do like the breadcrumbs. And I'm just kind of still getting used to it, because this is the first software that I've had that I've used this with.
Okay.
And so I do like it. The only comment I have about breadcrumbs is I want them at the top and the bottom.
The breadcrumbs at the bottom also.
Yeah, because sometimes I'm way down. So say I was looking at that list of 100 titles.
Yes, I understand. Yeah, you're going to wait.
I don't want to have to scroll all the way back up to the top to see my breadcrumbs.
Okay.
Helpful?
Never seen it before, so that's completely new.
Okay.
Innovative idea.
Well, hopefully a useful one.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to discuss this. Wow.
So
they would show up here somewhere.
right, like under this, you'd have your breadcrumbs repeated.
Because this is some a location on the page. Because I mean, like you clicked on search, you searched for the publication, you clicked on packages, you went to the packages, you looked through all the titles, and you think, no, it's not there. I want to go back. And that's where you would. That's
And
it.
I'm already kind of down there, if
Yeah.
that's closer than going all the way back up to the top.
Yeah.
So that's my one thing about breadcrumbs. I think they work. I think they're nice. I like the contextual thing. Now, the back button, I'm also a fan of the back button, but if I understand this correctly, when you use breadcrumbs, the back button doesn't necessarily, or maybe it's just they're still buggy on EBSCOnet, but they're like, use the breadcrumbs, don't use the back button.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
With us, no.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
This will correlate.
They'll both. Okay. So I'm a fan of the back button. Also, just because I've been using it for years.
Yeah, no, most people. It's
Yeah.
so easy. It's always there.
And
You
you
know
always
what you
know where
get.
to find it.
Yeah, you always know what you're going to get. You're going to get the page
You're going to
before
go
it.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the theory. Okay. Yeah. So
You clicked on the
in terms
title
of-
in the list.
Yeah, so we've clicked on the title on the list and we've gone back to Mango. But normally we were gonna get something else and we can go back to the list again just by backing up one step.
Which would go to a single purchase option as opposed to the whole package.
If
Okay.
a single purchase option, yes, that's sort of what I would expect. And details about that specific item.
Yes.
Now, when I'm looking at a package, it could be that the title is only available in that package, that it isn't available as a single purchase item, so I would want to find that information too.
You want to have a little note saying
Yeah.
only available as a package.
Right, you must order as part of the package. And here's another thing that I'm thinking out loud, and this is something that bugs me in SweatSwise right now.
Okay.
We don't order a lot of packages with you guys,
No.
but if I am looking for a title that is in a package, and I'm looking, for my order, or I'm looking for information about that title, unless I have the name of the package, I can't find it. It doesn't link back from the individual title sending me to the package. So I would want that in this. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because unless I look at my order record, I don't necessarily know that it's part of the package. I just know I need, like, maybe I'm claiming, maybe I'm trying to figure out, does it still exist? I'm kind of oriented at that title level.
Yes, understand.
And what I need is something that sends me to I need title level information. I need to be able to get to the package
I see.
in order to interact with the order.
So you're on a title, and you want to know if the title's part
Well,
of the
in
package.
SweatSwise, I can't get to the title. I mean, I can't get to the thing that I'm, let's see, I'm trying to think of a good example of something that we order that comes. I'll have to send you an example. I'll have to dig and find one. But unless I know that it's part of the package and I know what the package is called, I can't find my order in SweatSwise. Or unless I have my order number or something, some other way to access it. But I can't access it through the title. And I would want to be able to go into SweatSwise, search the title, and have it tell me, this title is available in X package.
Yes.
So for example, with one of these guys, if I went in and I did a search for, advancing executive coaching, I would expect to find something that's going to send me to this package as an option, to the Mango.
What would you click on
Sure.
the house for me? 'Cause let's see if I
I'm sorry,
understand.
click here?
No, on the
On
home. Or on search actually. Well, click search, please.
Okay.
Now, this title shows you that there is a package.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry, Mango is part of the package, and the other thing that I was looking at was the whole package. That's
Then-
right, because, yes, okay.
But is this something
Yes.
that would help you there? Because you see the
Yes.
individual title, but also.
Yes, exactly. That was exactly what I was describing.
Okay, so
Thank you.
this is.
And if I buy this package, then generally the package has a name.
Yes. And we don't make those up.
I know. I'm not faulting you on any of that.
No, please do if there is.
But my order is, at least currently in SweatSwise, my order is under the package name.
Mhm.
And if I go looking for Mango in SweatSwise now, it will not tell me. It usually tells me it can't find the title. It won't send me to the package name.
That's going to be so different than
this
this
will
one.
be this will be
Completely
resolved
different.
here.
Yeah, we have a whole new database completely new,
Well,
brand
is it,
new.
what's the design? Is it, I don't know. I know enough to be dangerous or to say the wrong things. Is it object oriented so that everything's all kind of connected,
Yeah, we use
individual but
Salesforce.
connected together or something
Yeah,
along
definitely.
that?
We have Salesforce
Mm-hmm.
and MarketLogic. Those are two very big, expensive machines that work on the database to
Mhm.
interlink everything
Mm-hmm.
and show it to you like that. Am I making sense? Because it's very
I think
difficult
so.
for me to explain.
I
I'm not technical.
I think so. So
Okay.
keep going.
Okay. And it will show you all the available, let's say the
All
universe
the different
around,
relationships.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, around, and maybe sometimes worth too many. So as opposed to
Not
not
enough.
enough. That's, so
Well, there's always the too many
yeah,
options.
exactly. So we're gonna have to
Right.
test that.
Yeah.
As soon
yeah.
as that is up and running.
Yeah. Like I was really miffed when eBay took out their truncated searches. They don't let you truncate a search anymore, or a search term.
What? How would that go into truncated search?
Well, so for
So if you have
example,
paleontology.
well, no, say I'm searching in eBay for bat stuff,
Yes.
and I want bat and bats. So I would just do bat hatch mark, right?
Yeah.
Or asterisk, sorry. They won't let you do the asterisks anymore in eBay.
What about plus?
So I have to, I don't know about plus, I don't think so. I think they've stopped doing any of those. So now I have to type my search bat. I have to, parenthesize with commas all the various terms that I want.
Really, because I do. Let's say I look for art.
Uh-huh.
And art minus poster. That works.
Yes, but if you were looking for art and artists and artisan,
So the minus works, but the plus does not. So
well, the minus is without that word,
Yes.
but it's not the variations in spelling or the variant endings to the word, which is what the asterisk did.
alrighty, okay, I see.
Yeah,
All,
yeah.
All the available.
So yeah, I could do
yeah.
like bats minus baseball, which is I do. Because I don't want
Of
the
course.
baseball bats or bats minus Batman.
Yes.
So yeah, I can do that, but I have to put in, bat and bats, and it used to be I could put bat with an asterisk.
Why would they do that? Why would they take that out?
I don't know, but anyway, it's a straight Boolean thing. I don't
Yes,
know.
yes, yes.
It's I
And,
don't
what,
know.
and also in the advanced search option, it's not there.
No, they won't let you do that anymore.
Oh, weird. No,
mean-
we have that.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, we have a very advanced now.
Okay,
New CEO really invested.
I'm liking what I'm seeing. I think you've got some really nice stuff. Okay, so let's see, what else have we got in here? So we've got our access URL. Now, let me ask you about the access URL. Is that the URL that I go to set up access?
To get access.
Okay. And, well, at the moment, the server isn't found on that one.
A lot doesn't exist. It's too bad, but we're going to expand.
Okay, some things that I would like to see is some hyperlinks to the supplier, or not the supplier, but the publisher. But sometimes I have an access question that we need to talk to them about. So contact information besides the access URL. Because the access URL can take you to a lot of different places. It can take you to like a form that you have to fill out and provide information in order to get access. It can take you to a place where, it can take you to a lot of different places. So, trying to articulate this so that it makes sense. It doesn't always tell you how to get a hold of someone so that you can email or talk to them about questions that you have regarding access.
Okay, because you just want the contact information.
Contact information for whoever is providing this thing. Now here, for example, you've got, like above this particular example, you have platform fees and you have an email address. So that's that kind of information for whoever, whoever creates the content and supplies the content.
So would you, for example, let's say,
Well-
have contact information and then,
Let me see if I can find a good example. I don't order that much online from EBSCO anymore.
Support for NPR comes from the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, supporting signs of progress in reversing child abuse at RWJF. Well, it's a matchup of division leaders as the AL East leading Red Sox.
Go to this account and see if this is going to give us some online stuff that we can look at.
Right-hander Jerry Parker.
So here's some packages that we purchase. And
All-Star break. First pitch, 10:05 tonight. And in the Hall of Fame Tennis Championships at Rhode Island, Nicholas Mayu
we just renewed this.
advanced to semifinals.
Oh, and this is from EBSCO, so that's not that
American Mike
helpful.
Russell also advanced to semifinals. I'm happy for
It's going to be kind of self-referential.
vacation day
Um,
or if you're out
Stage 9 from EBSCO, I don't think so.
Thank you so much for allowing us the chance to kind of brighten the
This whole thing is I need to go to another account.
to maybe add a bit of lightness to whatever you need to do. Here is the bright
See, it's
sound
recorded,
of Rob
yeah.
Smedley for Trumper.
Should give me some non-EBSCO titles.
Great opera composer. This is his trumpet concerto in flat major. You're on 99.5 WCM.
Oh no, that's the wrong account. Darn it. Sorry, these aren't accounts I work with all that often. Back to the orders. I'm trying to find some good electronic stuff that isn't EBSCO, that we purchased through EBSCO that isn't EBSCO supplied. This isn't helpful. That one's empty. 6 8. That's the print. That isn't helpful. Tunes. Anything here? Ah, here we go. No, that's the EBSCO supplied stuff. See, we've put almost all of our online stuff with you guys, but well, okay, here we go. So this will show us a couple different things, actually. So this is an online resource that comes from Taylor and Francis.
Mhm.
So when I go here, we get a lot of information. So we get the URL for the content. We get information about what we're getting access to. We're getting the URL for the content host, that's what they call it. So that's kind of what I was getting
Okay.
at. And here's the URL that you guys supply, which is the where you need to go to register. But we get a lot of other information that's really, really helpful. For example, does it support IP access? Can you do proxy with it?
Okay.
These kinds of things are things that we're particularly interested in with the electronic materials. And not that this is always perfectly accurate, because it's all a moving target. You're nailing Jell-O.
Yeah.
So, but for the most part it is.
Okay.
And it gives us some help, like here it tells us, yes, this has perpetual access. No, you don't get to archive it yourself.
That's a lot of information,
It's a lot of information.
and you like that all.
It is information that we need. We will need. Can we interlibrary loan it electronically? Yes or no?
And is this something you're not getting from Sweatswise?
I don't believe we
This
are.
detailed?
I
'Cause
don't believe we
either.
are. I don't believe we are. This is new. They just put this new cost analysis, which some of this we don't populate with the data that we need to make it work. So, and this analysis thing is new. They just did it this month. But let me look up the same title in Sweatswise.
Yes.
So you can see, oops, that's not what I meant to do. I have Sweatswise open here somewhere. Here we go. So let me go to the catalog. I'm going to search for this journal. It's already in.
Does that bother you that you have to type that?
Yeah, it's way better than it used to be. When you guys first put up Sweatswise, you had like, I think it was a 10-minute logout.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. And it took them about 2 years to change it.
Oh, that's really crazy.
Well, because I guess is this the same access that the public's using to get in?
Oh, that could be.
So I think the logic was that it would automatically kick out people at public stations who were using Sweatswise for other purposes. I don't know what it was, but it was awful. And I'm just going to put it in Delphi and see what we get. Okay, so here's the series. So even though this kind of takes its sweet time calculating, it does give us the actual price that we would pay, which is kind of nice. Whereas with these guys, I'm just going to get a list price.
So that makes it worth the while. It sometimes takes forever.
It does. You can sort of bypass it, so I'm just going to click here to move on. Yeah, the price calculation is not necessarily.
It's going to be almost real time in the system.
I'm not sure what all it's doing. I know it's off, you know.
Yeah, everywhere.
Okay, you know, who is this? What's their, you know, current service fee? Where are they? What kind of
Yeah.
sales tax? You know, so I appreciate somebody doing the math for me. But, okay. I'm not sure which one is correlate, but let's just go to this one just because it's painful to watch. So here it tells me what's in the package, which is nice. Here I have I have to go to another screen to do that. And it shows me what's in there. And I can go down to some detail on that, which is, you know, nice. But let's go back to here's what we get in Sweatswise. We've got the journal URL, an administrative URL, and a thing to go check the license requirement and details.
And the Scottish Chamber Orchestra here on 99.5 WCRB.
Really, is that? I mean, that and that is the same thing. But,
Same title.
but then a lot more information on the EBSCO. I mean, a lot more.
This is something I've been trying to say for a long time. That I think EBSCOnet is much more robust.
Yes.
And I don't know if people think I'm being rude,
In Holland, we love rude. We're very direct ourselves.
Not so much in New Jersey.
No, well, in the world, we always get people complaining about our directness.
I'm not. I'm a fan of direct. I'm a fan of evidence. I'm a fan of making decisions not necessarily for political reasons. So I would love to see this information emulated.
Yeah.
Because I think it's useful for your customers.
Definitely. And what is the information? All of it is useful?
It depends on what you're doing. It depends on what you're doing. So if, for example, indemnification, it doesn't come up all that often, but if you're in some dispute,
Yeah, exactly.
the terms of use, I think, is incredibly important.
Yes. It's pretty elaborate, But the analysis, you don't use it, what they just added, because you
Well,
have,
they just added it, so there's no data in there to show us, the cost per use or anything, because we haven't added it. I mean, we haven't, literally, this just got added this month, so
But-
we haven't even looked at it, hardly.
we have this, and what we get is, it's not so useful because we only get to see what we have with Swiss, as opposed to.
Exactly.
So for us.
So we're doing this elsewhere,
Exactly.
and
We're doing that in our own library system, because there we get everything.
because we can't get everything from you,
No.
we can't get everything from EBSCO. Now, I would rather not have them split between two vendors that basically do the same thing. That's just me. We used to do everything with SWATs that we could.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are publishers who won't work with a third party.
Yes.
You have to order them direct. You do not have the option.
No. More and
And,
more.
and it's happening more and more, so you're having to get your third party software to manage that, hence Serial Solutions.
Yes.
Well, plus there's, they provide records and, there's all kinds of aspects with it. And Julie has been involved with Serial Solutions for a long time and has been involved with their development. So there's that relationship also in addition. But, so it's not that we ignore this information, but it's only useful for the things that we have with you.
Yeah, no, I understand totally.
Yeah, and that's, and I,
And so you don't use it because, but maybe if there's something going on, you can.
yeah, I mean, once in a while, but here's the thing, for us to show cost per use, we'd have to give you the data of how it's getting used.
I know,
And it's just not worth our while to do that,
exactly. That's what we're getting. So
Yeah.
we abandoned that.
yeah. I'm not quite sure, what, here's another thing that I think would be really nice for you guys to add if you don't. Where is it? I'm trying to figure out where to get there it's one of those things I never go back to. There's news. This just tells me,
Oh, that news. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
when I log in, this is the first screen that I see. I don't have to, I have choices of screens, but it's helpful.
And just tells you about.
Just tells me, they're gonna go down for maintenance for, so just in case I'm working on a weekend or whatever, I would schedule myself around that if I was gonna be doing. They also have, training and documentation,
Great.
which is nice.
Yes.
Nice. It's, it's not horribly extensive, but it does kind of get you in the ballpark of where you need to go. So again, once you gotta get this built. I don't know how much turnover there is these days in libraries. I mean, mostly we're receding, but, you know, sometimes it's difficult to get training sessions.
Yes.
And these helpful refreshers on things that I was trained on that, you know, I just don't do all that often, or
So you would actually go here to have a look?
I occasionally go here,
Okay.
and or when I'm training a new person,
Oh, sorry.
you know, or things like, you know, I'm the site administrator, but it's, you know, like I set a new person up every 3 or 4 years, so I don't remember how to get in there and do all that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't do
It's
that
just,
often.
I don't do it
yeah.
often enough. So, you know, but I know that I can go here and, you know, oh yeah, this is what I need to do.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering if you would get video or documentation.
It depends. For the most part, they give you kind of like it's a little slideshow with the audio.
And
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, they kind of walk you through the basics on some of this stuff. And I know, you know, your service person can come and do this training, but
they would, yeah. But that's not, cumbersome.
it's, yeah, sometimes it's not timely or whatever. But anyway, moving on.
Yeah, so I
Moving
understand
on.
what you mean by the
Um,
difference.
So there's some things that I think I would love to see you emulate, is why I show you these things
Mhm.
as possibilities for the future.
No,
Oh, do we get-
completely.
Oh, I'm sorry, we
No,
babbled
no.
too long.
Oh, that is wonderful. Go on. Help me here.
Because I want it to be, like, I can't decide which company's better. I do. I want to be like, I want to be going to EBSCO and saying, you know what? They came up with this really awesome, amazing thing. You need to do this. Besides calculating the actual price.
Yes.
So, I would like to see this much more robust.
Yeah, I understand.
Much more robust.
So a lot more information. Basically.
And again, it doesn't all have to be laid out on the screen. It could be something that, you know, like they give us the option of, you know,
Yeah, we have
compacting.
the harmonica.
Yeah.
Or no,
Is that what it's called, harmonica?
No, accordion.
Accordion. Sorry.
I always confuse.
You know, San Francisco is the accordion capital of the world.
Why do they call it accordion capital? Because of the hill.
I think they're the only ones who claimed it. I don't know. I don't know. Because they're weird.
They are though.
Because they're weird.
In
I lived
in
there.
a nice way.
In a nice way, they're weird.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but I love that, you know, you've added the back and forth. Let's see, we talked about exporting, we talked about sharing, we talked about emailing. I think,
We talked actually about everything.
yeah, I think yeah,
There's just a few small questions I'd like to ask.
please.
That one, the Google, is that useful? It doesn't work right now, but it will lead you to the Google.
Version of this?
Yes.
Well, so this is a Google supplied ebook you're selling me?
No.
I'm sorry. What is this? What is the Google preview? I'm unfamiliar with that.
What Google has done, they have scanned every single book.
Right. Well, not every single book, but millions of them.
Millions, and they're still doing it.
And there's people who think it's every single book, but it's not.
No, of course, but they're still scanning.
But tons, right?
It's really a low.
Right.
It's available on the internet. So
Right, for
maybe-
free.
For free. So we just provided a link to this publication
Okay.
at Google.
So my immediate thought is, why am I buying it?
No, I don't know if you can buy it as Google. I think. you
Well,
can.
if it's Google free, why am I buying it?
Because you can just browse through it on the internet. You can't actually, if you want to buy a journal, you can't physically hold it. It's electronic. But
Right.
if this is ebooks, you think, so why would you? Because you cannot do anything with it. You can't put it on loan.
Okay. So, okay. If the book is available free in Google Books, is that what you're saying? This is a Google book. Okay.
Well, take a look.
So, okay. Let's go. Mango.
The artistry of guitarist David Russell. This is music by Sylvia Slagle Rice from one of his suites.
The Mango by
Flamingo.
Richard. Yeah.
Okay, so here's the book. Oh, great, I got the French page. That's really helpful.
Maybe it's a French book. Oh, you got the whole French.
The whole
Google.
French page. Yeah, I got French Google. I got Google France. That's funny.
Oh, that is
I
French.
did.
Oh,
Okay.
the link even says France.
Yeah, that's really funny. Okay, that's not the same book.
No,
The Great
well.
Mango book.
Well, if you there
Okay.
it is.
So, well, I mean, I don't know if what I'm looking at in Google France, because
That one?
sorry. Which one?
This one?
This one here?
I'm
Okay.
not sure. This is bottom.
I'll wiggle this so it doesn't go anywhere.
Let's say it's this one.
Okay, so say it's this one. And do I have access to the entire book here? This is just an abstract.
Yeah, abstract information.
It's just an abstract. But I'm not actually seeing the whole book.
Well, it said no book available. Here.
Here we
Oh,
go.
no ebook available. So.
Okay.
Well, this is
So-
obviously not a good book for this.
Well,
But any other book. So. What,
okay, I'm just thinking, if the book is in Google for free,
Mm-hmm.
why am I buying this book here?
So.
That's my immediate thought.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
Um,
But you're aware of
unless,
this,
well, am I aware of Google Books? Yeah,
right? And you're not the only one.
right. But I guess, why am I paying for a package of free books?
Well, Google only scanned, I believe, books that are.
This
No.
is just part of that package. There's more stuff in here that isn't,
Yeah, of course.
okay.
Because publishers would go broke if they put every
Well,
book
it just
available.
seems kind of weird to me that, it seems kind of odd to me that people would put in a package something that's available for free. Although,
Although maybe not the complete book is available. I'm not
Right.
very sure.
right,
Or which books they actually scanned or
Mhm.
were able to
Mhm.
scan. Are they all copyright-free books? or-
well, I suppose the link idea is interesting, I'm not quite sure. Okay, so say I wanted to buy my own copy of the Mango, is that kind of what this is for? Because then I would end up going here, and it could take me to Amazon or eBooks to go find it.
You would,
And you could find it in a library, so, you know. I suppose that could be handy. But again, would I be doing it from here? Or would people in Sweatswise be doing it from here?
No, because they have a back end where they're working. They have completely different view.
Yeah. I mean, this is interesting, but kind of like the share.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
well,
yeah.
this is an interesting idea, and I could see how patrons would use it in a library catalog. But are patrons seeing this in Sweatswise?
Yeah, they would.
Okay. They'd. Wait a second, maybe I'm misunderstanding where I'm at. I think I'm in a staff access mode
Yes.
of Sweatswise.
Yes, you are Betty Johnson.
Okay, so I'm Betty Johnson, who has the authority to order stuff and
Right.
Right. Okay. Is Betty Johnson gonna use this?
That's the question. But you are Betty Johnson.
Well, I know, yeah. Well, that's why I was saying, I think if what you were building this for was a patron,
Mm-hmm.
well, maybe Betty Johnson just wants to buy this one book. Maybe.
Isn't that a bit strange?
You could throw it out there, and do you have a way to monitor what people do or
Yes,
don't do?
Yes.
If it
Yeah,
doesn't
of
hurt,
course.
throw it out there and see what people
Yeah,
do with
that's-
it.
Yeah.
Kind of like the share, throw it out there, see how people respond to it.
Exactly.
It doesn't hurt.
No, it won't hurt at all, but I
Yeah.
was just wondering if that's something that...
I'm just not quite grasping a practical application
No,
for it.
okay. No, I didn't see you go there, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah. Okay,
Well,
so.
there is another one, so the
what
last
else?
one.
Go ahead.
But we went to Betty Johnson.
Yeah.
Now, if you click at I
Don't
know,
click on Betty.
Well, maybe let's see.
See what
what's
happens
there.
if we
Not-
click on Betty?
No,
She's not there.
no. But we used to have a page, so I don't know why it's not. So you get your whole profile, all your settings, and the whole resume tab, what you want to do.
Yeah.
Handy, of course.
Yes.
Yeah. But then, what is it you would like to see in there? Oh, you have it there also?
Yeah. I have my own account, and I can set up my preferences here. So these are just some examples of things. There's always more, but so I can change my display date format. I can prompt for a customer code, meaning does it ask me for my password? Does it ask for my? It automatically supplies my customer code at the login, so I don't have to put my customer code in. It already puts my username in because I tell it, don't ask me for that. All I have to do is put in my password. That's it. I can say I want to start with news as my default page. I can start with
All right.
these
Yeah,
options.
that's exactly what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can always set your default settings here.
Right. And I can say, I want medical subject headings, I want general. In our case, we use LC classification. So I love this. I can change my password. I can say I want orders to automatically have this data if I want to go there. Same thing for claims. I can mess with that. Let's see, what else? I can say these are the reports I want to have access to. These are the accounts that I work with, so I can get to information about my accounts. I also happen to be the administrator for these guys, so so yeah, I love this stuff.
Anything missing here that you? Wow, that would be great if it's in there, or is it complete?
Good question. I could show you some other things about EBSCOnet that I like that are different than SweatsWise, that are just kind of part of their design as opposed to necessarily a setting, so to speak. But in terms of my settings, this covers pretty much what works for me. You've got a nice range of language, which I think you guys do too, right?
Yeah, we
Probably even better than this.
Well, we have there are Dutch there too. They do it on all the. Yeah. No, I don't know if it's better. We just have with 28 languages in there.
Yeah, you've got more. So, because I think you deal with more. I think one of your focuses and one of your strengths is the international component, for the most part. Except for Latin America, we have issues with Latin American stuff, but everybody does. Everybody does. So, anyway, so yeah, it's pretty powerful, and I'm overall pretty happy with it. Some things that I do like about it is, I can set my default to be an advanced search.
All right.
And again, these stay sticky. So for me, I'm usually searching by our subscription number. It's just the quickest, most direct way for us to get to our order. Whereas in SweatsWise, I have to go to that title list.
Yeah.
And then, navigate from there. So there's, again, there's just a lot of things where I think they could make the navigation better. But it looks like you've gone a long way.
Complete makeover.
Well, not just a makeover, it's a redesign.
Yeah, it's a new
I
program.
mean, it's a new product. I understand the data behind it, but you didn't legacy the cumbersome.
No, they pulled me in for that.
Yeah. So and I know that putting this all together it's pretty phenomenal. It's a remarkable accomplishment.
But it's good for the companies.
Yes. Oh yeah, it's overdue.
Oh wow.
It's overdue. Because honestly, SweatsWise is out of the box.
Concerto
And they've
Number
not
1.
really done that
The
much to
Scottish
improve
Chamber
that.
Orchestra has conducted.
Not at all.
Charles
There's
Marquez,
a couple
99.5.
cosmetic things,
Yes.
really.
When I came in, I couldn't believe that the system was running. It's like it should
Did
be in a
you
museum.
read the feedback stuff?
Oh yeah, constantly. And you know,
I mean, and it's some ugly stuff in there.
no, but also true.
Well, no, but I mean ugly things that need to be fixed.
Yes.
No,
A lot of
I,
people get really angry.
you probably, did you read my comments before?
Oh, I don't know, but I totally understand.
I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
No, honestly, we read those. So we do it in a 2-week session. So every 2 weeks we sit down and we read the feedback and we go over them, and then what we get. So I'm just
No.
in a position we get. You go to the technical department, but they have to do this. And
Sure.
then we say, well, this is really important. People are asking for it, and it's also, even if they wouldn't ask for it,
This is something you would expect.
you guys.
Yeah.
So I got 4 things because I was new,
Mhm.
and I thought it was a hot shot. So they did 4 things. Diacritics, which was very important for Germany, because they had the umlaut and all that things.
Yeah.
They couldn't even search on the words with an umlaut because
Oh,
it wouldn't
yeah.
show up.
Oh, yeah.
So they fixed that.
Yes.
They fixed a couple of other little things, and then they said, sorry, we're out of time. So now we have a stack this high. And I'm like,
I'm the one who went nuts about the punctuation.
what's the punctuation?
Well, there's punctuation, oh, here we go. This drives me bananas. Let's see, I think there's a place where you can say my, here we go, my stuff. So, I vote. Oh,
These stages of order as active. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Because I have all these things that we're still actively receiving things on, but they're canceled,
Yeah.
you know. And I only get 2 years worth of records. I get 5 to 7 in EBSCO.
You know what I heard I've been only working here for 1.5 years. When I heard at the beginning, oh yeah, after 5 years we throw everything away. You gotta throw it away?
Oh, it's even worse than that because there are titles, particularly in subscriptions, and more so now than ever, that are what they call delayed. So what the deal is the publisher, for all kinds of reasons, isn't actively publishing something. And sometimes this goes on for years. They suspend. And, you know, you check with them and they're like, yeah, we're going to get it out, in about 6 months, hang in there, and the 6 months go by and nothing happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, SWATs continue to charge us every year for renewal for things that there was nothing was being delivered. Because that's how they're set up. So anything that's delayed has been moved away from SWATs.
Of course.
I've moved things away from the company because of their, a kind way to say it is lack of competency.
I would have used stupidity, but yeah. No, it's true.
And so one of my bugaboos has been, and they did do some corrections, length of claim comment. So,
Yeah, just have more.
so I'm the one who initiated this whole thing because you can't do these characters. Colons and forward slashes are standard punctuation in the library rules for the punctuation between levels of enumeration in a serial. So when you have like a volume and a number, you had to be able to say, V period, 1, colon, and then NO period 5. And sometimes I would have a question mark, so I'd put a question mark in the comment.
No.
It refused all of that.
That's-
So
well,
they've added some of them back in.
But this is solved by the new database. So just by
Yay.
replacing the database.
Thank you, because I still can't use a forward slash, which indicates a combined
Okay.
issue.
It's not going to be an issue in this one.
Thank freaking
So,
God.
yeah,
So
well.
I'm thrilled.
Yeah,
I'm thrilled.
but we still have the issue of when are they going to roll this out? Because they've already rolled out SWOC, the Swiss online content. It's already in the new look and feel and everything.
And you're in beta right now.
We're in better right now. Yeah, we
Okay.
still have the real technical issues.
And-
huh?
I have a background over the years of testing software, particularly serial software.
Okay.
So I've seen them come and go. And I have tested
Yes.
and commented
Very good.
and given feedback, and I know the process. Even even when you roll it out, it's usually not ready for prime time as you'd like. So
That's true, and that's what bugs me because it could be, that's just because that's management decision.
well, at some point they have to say enough.
Yeah.
But I know. They don't say it at the right time.
No.
So I would suggest, if you can, roll it out in a test version with some customers.
That's the whole idea. That would be the good way to approach that, right?
Mhm.
That's the right way to go about. But they don't. They say they do, but instead they just roll out to the whole wide world with all the errors and all the mistakes and all the.
And then they get upset when you give them the feedback.
No, we don't get. They don't even get upset anymore.
Oh.
People are just numb.
I don't know if you knew about this. We had a conference call a couple years ago, and a bunch of us were invited, and I was excited because I thought it was the beginning of a focus group
Ah, yeah.
to discuss this stuff.
Yeah.
And so they sent us all this stuff about things that they wanted to discuss. And so I was excited thinking this was going to be the first in a series of conference calls. No,
0.
it was a 1-hour conference call. And that was it. They were done. And they welcomed us to email them any other questions or comments that we had. And it was bananas. It was,
Wow. They're an agency, huh?
so, it sounds like you're taking a really great approach. If there's something I can do to support you, I'm not necessarily an influential person.
No, but you want to help.
I do.
Yeah, well, that's.
Like I said, I want this product to work because I got to use it.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah.
And my perspective on the whole thing with using Sweats or EBSCO is that your job is to make my life easier.
Yes. We want to be the super librarian supporting the librarian.
That's what I rely on you to do.
Exactly.
It has not been that way.
No. We're making amends.
And the only reason we are still doing business with you is because Julie refuses to let me transfer things away.
Mm.
But she doesn't have to deal with the day-to-day
Yeah.
frustration of it.
Oh, I don't even work in that program myself.
And so I want this to work.
Yes, no, really. And I'm going to tell you up front, because we like to be direct. Timelines, I have no
Of course.
say about that at all.
Of course.
But I do know that I had a talk with the project manager yesterday, because she was here also, she's gone now. And she had a call from the Netherlands about timelines, and now don't fall off your chair.
Sure.
Okay. It was going to be next year,
Mm-hmm.
till 14.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's what they were planning now.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
before
don't
that
roll
time.
it out at renewal season.
No, I think they do. Did they do that? Really?
Pretty close to it
Oh,
when they
yeah.
rolled out Sweatswise.
No.
I mean, no, I'm not saying you don't need to make improvements to the renewal process.
No.
That's a whole other.
Yeah.
We're not even going there today.
No. No. We'll get that later. No, but you know what will
Yeah.
happen is, you said you wanted to be kept in the loop.
Yeah, I'd love to.
So, see, the whole rollout, the actual rollout will probably be in 14, but I'll supply you with all kinds of beta versions and all that, so you can actually monitor progress and be part of the whole thing.
I would love to.
Me
I
too.
would
That
love to
be
contribute that way.
great. Okay, so that's what. Okay, wonderful.
Sure. Yeah. Anything I can do to help, I am happy to do that. Because we just don't have the staffing to do all that
No,
stuff
we
that we
understand.
used to do.
No, that's something we're very
That's
aware of.
what that's what we're relying on you guys
Yes,
to do.
yes. And I'll be here every couple of months.
Cool.
And
Cool.
I have a new version. And I can
Cool.
show you. You can walk through it like now, and
Okay.
probably shorter, but then.
Excellent.
Yeah, well, I have to, I'm not the one that decides, I have people, managers above me.
I
who-
understand.
So, but this is what it looks like now.
Okay.
So, and it won't be a one-off, and then, yeah, so that's hopeful.
Because, I have got my hopes dashed before.
Oh, no, it's very difficult for us even
Well,
inside the company.
And I do understand, because you do have to, management has to balance, money, talent, effort, payoff.
Mm, mm.
And the service part, there's not a tangible payoff for them. It doesn't translate necessarily into money.
Well,
It may translate into less lost business,
but that's money.
but they don't see it as, they don't know
Well, we try to say
who didn't leave.
No,
you
well,
know?
retention is also, and anyway, your happy customers are good customers.
Yeah,
Why wouldn't you want a happy customer? You're a
Yeah.
service-oriented company.
right. And, they've done some, and there's some other components that I think, besides SweatsWise, that they've done recently to help. Jason gave us a new cam. And, I feel like for a long time we've had cams that were just, and I appreciate that you're thoughtful about this, that you're looking ahead, that you're trying to anticipate.
Yeah, well, my focus is the customers, not the company.
Yeah.
So they might not want that.
Are you a consultant, is that?
No,
No, you-
I'm an employee, but
Uh-huh.
I'm not, I could be an employee with any other customer next year.
Mm-hmm.
Customers always stay.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make them happy, that's my focus.
Mhm.
That's why I
Well,
came.
it's encouraging that you exist.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know you did.
No, there you go. There you go.
And it looks like you're doing really, really good work. And
Well, the
I
whole team.
understand there's not gonna be necessarily immediate gratification on this.
No, it's gonna be
And-
delayed, yeah.
And even the delayed gratification, there's always gonna be, more to improve.
Well, but that's fine as long as we have a baseline.
Yeah,
And right now it's rock bottom, wouldn't you think, or even low?
you do that really nice thing where you show me the tax and the actual price.
Oh, God, that's right, that's right.
That's really special.
Okay, so
That's really helpful.
just a little bit hovering over rock bottom. No, but I completely understand. I have to say, anywhere where I go, Spain, America, Canada, around Turkey even, which is they're all males.
Oh, yeah,
So
dealt
it's
with.
different attitudes.
Yeah.
They say the same thing. We like you as a people. So the
Right.
people we deal with, they're nice and they're very helpful. So that's what we like. But your software is completely. It's just 1800. It's absolutely.
Even when it
hard.
rolled out, it was outdated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
And-
why it was outdated now, but
Mhm.
that's just no excuse to not get.
Not
something.
in this environment if you want to keep going,
Yeah, exactly.
if you want to be successful. I mean, I think you have a lot of legacy clients who I don't know why they've stuck with you. Although Julie, when I complain, has said, nobody else has problems with them. And I'm like,
No way.
are you kidding?
No, you have, let's say France. All of France was EBSCO. That's let's say 90%.
Mhm.
And then EBSCO did some reorganization.
Mhm.
And EBSCO is not so nice a people company. They say.
Mhm.
I don't know them myself, but that's what I hear. And so.
And it may depend on on where, because I'm dealing with people in LA. They're pretty nice, but I know that they have offices scattered.
They call them to request.
Right.
And they're more sales oriented than service oriented. That's what I get to hear, but again, I don't know at all.
Well, and a lot of it depends on the personalities, and the mesh of the personalities. Because, like I said, when I had idiots for cams, I mean, it seemed like I just beat my head on the wall because I'd ask, like I'd send an email saying, oh, here's a 3-step thing, and they do the first step. And then I'm like, well, wait a minute, what about step number 2 and 3?
Yes.
And then they'd come back with step number 2. And then I'm like, well, wait a minute, what about step number 3? And they wonder why I'm a little terse.
No, I completely understand.
So a lot of it is, there's a lot of components.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but I just want.
But you are a major one.
No, but not only me, the whole team. The whole team is newer. We have what is it, the Brazilian Yasmina. She worked at Elsevier before. A couple
Oh,
years.
another customer-oriented company.
Also Holland, yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's perfectly okay. I know all about, we talked about that yesterday. In South Africa, they call it Elsevier.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, you probably heard that. That's the first time I heard it. So I went like, okay, so she came in. She's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
She's nice, she's wonderful, and she thinks like I do. She says, what's going on here? She said, no, but we got a lot of work. So
You got a
that's
culture
nice.
to change.
Yes, and that's nice. And with the new CEO,
Mm-hmm.
he's on now for, I heard, 2 years.
Mhm.
So 2 years and a couple of months. He's from England. He's hyper intelligent,
Mm-hmm.
and he is changing it. I mean, he's letting a lot of people off, a lot of layoffs. But he's doing such a good thing, bringing good people in, changing. But also, he has people he has to report to. So he has 2 steps forward, 1 back. But we're going forward. And I think people are seeing that more and more, and getting that service mind around, and just changing.
That's great.
That's very good
That
to see it
is great.
inside the office.
Yeah.
Happening. Not yet so in the world, the smaller offices, but the head office in the Netherlands.
Well, when I first came and I saw Sweats, started working with Sweats, and I'd only worked with EBSCO previously, and I kind of kept looking at these, they're doing what? Why do they do that way?
Yeah.
Why?
They just didn't know.
And and then there's just been, it's like every month there's some new crazy problem that a creative way to make things crazier and harder. And it's at the stage where I can't trust anything that's on the invoices. I can't trust anything coming out of the accounting department without going over everything with a fine-tooth comb. And what's the point of having the service if it's going to make more work for me?
Is that what's happening now?
Yeah.
I haven't.
Yeah, I know you don't necessarily have anything to
No,
do
but
with that
it
piece,
does
but
frustrate me as well. I mean, geez, come on.
because I have to double check everything.
No, that's not going to help, is it?
No, no, that's kind of my point. That's why I've been wanting to move away.
Yeah, no way.
And when a mistake is made, here's some small things. I guess how it seems to be organized is Sweats gets an invoice from the publisher, and then once they get the invoice from the publisher, then they bill me. Well, if they don't get an invoice from the publisher, they don't bill me, and my subscription lapses. Even though I've said I want to renew this. So I have things lapse all the time. If they make a mistake, it takes me 6 months to get a credit to fix the error. These are the kinds of things I'm dealing with, and even when I see the train coming on a mistake, I can't seem to stop it by contacting them and saying, I can see this breakdown's about to occur.
Exactly. Do something, no?
Will you please intervene?
But crickets.
We had a couple months ago, we had Wiley negotiated something with our chancellor's office, unbeknownst to us. The Wiley salesperson contacted Sweats and told Sweats to order all this stuff for us. Well, no one ever talked to us. I'm like, since when did these guys authorize to order stuff on our behalf? I got the confirmation of the order. I contacted my boss, who supposedly took care of it. I'm not sure. There may have been a breakdown there, but I talked to my Sweats person and said, hey, this was a mistake. We already have these with EBSCO. We do not want this order.
Nicolai Davydenko is the pianist.
A month later, I get an
Music by
invoice.
Carl Maria von Weber.
I get the invoice and I'm like,
Virtual
what?
SOCAN is pretty much
I got an invoice. I'm not paying this invoice.
Piano Concerto Number 1 in C major, the Scottish Chamber Orchestra.
It took 2 months, even with expediting everything, to get the credit to counteract the
All
invoice.
is well with you.
I'm just like,
If you have the day off
Yeah.
and listening to
Cut it out,
classical
yeah.
music, thank you so much for inviting us.
Yeah.
Or if you're listening at
Yeah,
work, thank you. Maybe you're listening
that's not
online
something
at
I'm gonna be able to change, I'm
classicallondon.org.
afraid.
no, thanks for listening.
Yeah, sure, yeah, I know,
You
I,
know, thanks for listening.
no, it's frustrating to me also.
But, so I, you know, given I'm not being allowed the option of stopping to do business,
Otherwise.
I'm like, okay,
Bugger.
let's try to make this positive. So, I think improvements to sweat spies are gonna go a long way.
Yeah, at
They
least
will.
is a
They will.
Band-Aid, maybe.
It will go a long way.
Yeah. The other
And-
stuff is, maybe it will
Well, and
change also.
hopefully, I don't know where, say for example, the accounting stuff gets done. Is it integrated with SweatsWise, or is it a separate thing?
Yeah, no. What I do know is that we bought Salesforce. Ever heard of Salesforce?
No,
well,
but,
it's a really big American company,
Mhm.
and what they do, they sell the software, this
Mhm.
piece of software all over the world. And what this piece of software does, you can really quickly do all the service,
Mhm.
service, and the website, feed the website, so fill
Mhm.
it with data. And also do the accounting and all the other stuff on it. So,
maybe that will help.
and it's on one platform, and with
Right.
seamless,
Right,
instead of all these different platforms that don't talk well and
right,
things go wrong.
right.
So I know that's going to make a change.
Okay.
Speed-wise, now, how good your information is going to be,
Well, the data itself, I mean, it comes from orders and the renewals, that's all gonna be
but
in
you
there.
say you have to check with code, and that
Well-
for me, I don't know how many people work and how many is automated,
Right, right.
how much. So that's going to be,
It'll be interesting.
but hopefully, instead of 10% good and 90% bad, we'll turn that ship around.
That would be great.
That wouldn't be
That would
wonderful already, right? So,
I mean, I know we don't pay you much on a service fee.
I don't even know what the service is.
We pay a very low service fee. And that's part of how you've kept the business.
No, okay. That's probably true. I have no idea how that is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, are there any other questions I can
No,
answer for you?
I'm happy as a chick in the email. That's
Oh,
really,
great! Me
that's
too. I'm
wonderful.
thrilled. I keep knocking your camera though. Now that you've got a view of my cabinet.
Well, because
Bye. That's too